on your own, but I have the outcome predicted for you, right? You have that already. All right, so flip to Sherman's March. Let's find this right here. We're going to go to the bottom of page 261 in your textbook. Does everyone have a textbook on their desk? Bottom of page 261.
I'm getting to the bottom of 261.
All right, so remember, this is the format we're always looking for. It's going to be setup, what happens during the battle or the event, and then why it's important. So, same thing we do in the last couple days. All right, so we're at Sherman takes Georgia. Right at the bottom of 261. Then we're going to flip the page. Ready? In the late August 1864. Pause. What do we got? We got the date. Here we go. So late August 1864. Late August 1864. Sherman's March, guys. Sorry, yeah. Sherman's March. It's not listed at the top one. It's on the back. Sherman March. We got you. Late August 1864. All right. So we got August 1864. Can the Zoom class hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Okay. We got August 1864, that first box in Sherman's March. General Sherman's army tried to encircle Atlanta. To avoid being trapped in the city, Confederate General John B. Hood evacuated the city. Taking the city easily, Sherman's troops set fires to destroy railroads, warehouses, mills, and factories. The fire spread quickly, destroying more than 1/3 of the city. All right, so all we have so far is we have the date and we have a location too, right? Did anyone get where we are? Emma? Georgia, yeah, we're in Atlanta, Georgia. We're going across Georgia. Boom, we got a date and we got a location. And I think we saw a guy too, right? Who's this guy we're talking about? This key people. It's right there in the title. What's his name? Sherman, right? We got General Sherman, and he's in the Union. All right. So we got the date, and we got the location, and we got General Sherman in the Union as a key person. Awesome, awesome. We got General Sherman too, right? Yes, cool, cool, nice, awesome. And he's part of the Union, so he's fighting against the South. We're gonna see what he does. All right, on November 15th, 1864, read this next paragraph. Sherman led his troops east across Georgia in what became known as the March to the Sea. All right, pause. We got a bold term. Bold term means important, right? All right, so on key people events, let's write down March to the Sea. You can do March to the Sea and then a dash, and then we're going to find out what this March to the Sea is, right? because we don't know what it is yet. There's just a march to the sea. All right, let's figure out what this march to the sea is. The purpose of this march was to make Southern civilians understand the horrors of war and to pressure them into giving up the struggle. Sherman's troops cut a path of destruction through Georgia that was at times 60 miles wide. They ransacked houses, burned crops, and killed livestock. By December 21st, 1864, they had reached the coast and seized Georgia's first settlement, the city of Savannah. All right, pause. In your own words, try to write down what the March to the Sea is. What are they doing? Oh no, you're okay. We're down here. So just drawing. Nice. It's a great answer. All right, so that can be that's the outcome and significance, right? They're making the Southern civilians understand the horrors of the war. They're trying to scare them. They're saying, they're like going through everyone's towns, burning all their towns and saying, we're winning this war. Like they're bringing it in everyone's homes now. All right, and we can write that in significance too, right? Awesome. So we got the March to the Sea. And you're okay. So this is going to be in Sherman's March. So just everything you wrote here.
Okay.
Sorry, no, it's okay. You're right. All right, I can come back. Awesome, and you can also write this right here because that's the significance, right? Awesome, nice. We haven't done this. We're going to do this next. Sorry, we skipped. That's confusing. Sorry. Yeah, you guys are going to do this right after. All right, how are we doing? And you guys can also write what the March to the Sea was. Understand the horrors of war. You can put it right there too. That's the significance. We got it. We got it. Good. Awesome. All right, and this should be pretty simple. Do you think it's a victory or a loss if the Union? Yeah, awesome, victory. If they're going and burning everything down, it's a victory for the Union. So we got that as a victory for the Union. Awesome. Do we have any questions on this before we move on? Key people, we had General Sherman, and we just wrote March to the Sea. And what the March to the Sea was, but awesome. Yeah, you got the significance too. Sure, good. All right, good job. And then for significance, we're just writing that it like tomorrow. You see, you said it right there on the March to the Sea. It's the significance too. All right, awesome job, guys. All right, so we still have 2 rows that we need to fill in, right? We have the Siege of Petersburg and Mobile. So, sorry to keep making you guys skip around, but on page 261, we have both of these. They're like a paragraph each, or 1's 2 paragraphs. We have the Siege of Petersburg and we have Mobile on 261. The textbook does not do a great job on giving you the significance, so we wrote it there. All it's going to do is these are victories for the Union that are going to make Lincoln get elected. Because Lincoln wants to stay in the war
And if we're winning the war, it's going to make people vote for Lincoln. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right. So for Siege of Petersburg and Mobile, we're going to give you a couple minutes. I'm going to give you like 10 minutes. Try to get down a date and a location and keep people in events. And I'm going to come around if you guys need any help. Doing it on your own. Guys on Zoom, do you guys understand what's going on? We're doing the Siege of Petersburg and Mobile on our own using the textbook. It's also on the screen too, so you guys should see it.
Guys at home have any question? Going back and doing exceptional Petersburg and
I don't know if they can hear you, but do you have a question, Emma? Good question. It's in Virginia because Richmond's in Virginia, so Petersburg is in Virginia too. It's a place. Good. Was
Cold Harbor, Richmond, and Petersburg.
awesome. So just because it says Petersburg right there, we're just going to put down Petersburg. Does that make sense? Keep it simple. That's also a good point. Spring of 1864. That's a tricky one. You just put down 1864. All right, Adeline brought up a good point. Is anyone else having trouble finding the date for Petersburg? All right, so we can just write down 64, 1864. All right, so what are we trying to find here? Oh, the victory, yeah. All right, so the strength of the city's defenses intimidated the Jews. So realizing the full-scale assault, Grant decided to lay siege to the city. So all he's doing is he's staying outside the city and bombing it. So, yeah, it's a victory. Good job. Yeah, it's not super clear, but you just got to read into it a little. Dave Farragut, nice. That's what I had. Awesome. Good job. Way to go. How you doing? I like your hoodie, Ellie. All right. All right. So this one's tricky and loss and victory. So they're like staying outside the city and bombing it a bunch of times. So we're just gonna say victory for this one right here. Yeah, no problem. How you doing, Matthew? Schiller, nice. Just what I have. And then when you have these names, like you might know who they are right now, but like later you're gonna forget. So if you just put down like Union or, does that make sense?
How am I supposed to know if it's a victory or a loss?
Good question. This one is tricky. Everyone's having trouble with it. It's just a victory because he's like, he's staying outside the city and bombing it a bunch of times, which is like, I don't know. It's tricky in war whether that's a victory or a loss, but he's bombing it a bunch as a victory. For Mobile, read this last sentence. It says, although Farragut did not capture Mobile, he did stay off the bay. So he didn't capture it, but he did seal off the bay, which is probably what he's trying to do. So it's like a 50-50. I wrote victory. It's more of, this is for you guys to interpret. So I said a victory. Victory, victory, victory. All right, awesome. Looks like you guys are pretty close to getting it done. Let me,
Excuse me, I have a question.
yes, what is your question from
I
Zoom?
can't find anything that's really important for the key people or events for mobile or Mobile, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's mobile. That's a tricky word. It's like a mobile for a thing. For key people or events, I just said Farragut. We already talked about Farragut, but he's the guy that's doing this thing,
Okay.
right? For
Thank you.
mobile. Yeah. Good question. Good question. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, it looks like we're making progress on that. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this study guide that we're working on. So again, we have this Quizlet on the website, and the Quizlet should really help you guys. Like, if you're like having trouble understanding a term, like go on Quizlet. It's up there, and it explains it pretty well. What's that? We play some Quizlet live. Maybe at the end of class, we'll think about it. All right. So on this sheet, you guys have a lot of notes already. We have this chart that you guys have been working on, and we have the chart from before that you guys have been working on. So find as many as you can. Like today, we talked about number 19, or not today. Today we talked about Sherman's March, which is number 21. So we can start with Sherman's March, number 21 there. And we talked about Petersburg too, number 24. So this study guide is going to help you guys a lot for the quiz. Yeah, just fill it in. What other paper?